Good morning, friends. Happy Monday. Happy last day of February. Can you believe it? All right, we are live. Yeah, can you believe this is it? February. Gone. Poof. And the only thing I have to say about that is it's also the last day for celebration. If there was anything in the celebration catalog that you wanted, you still have some time today to get your orders in. And one of the products out of the celebration catalog, and I was going to bring the catalog and lay it up here for you, but I took it downstairs to put my order in yesterday, and I forgot to bring it back up. Anyways, the one free item that you could get for with your $50 product purchase is this Simply Marbelous Designer Series paper. And we're going to use some of that today in our project. Yeah, so yesterday I wanted to get my order in for my customers who met their quotas this month for my gifts. I ordered the hexagons, the adhesive hexagons, and I thought I had them laying out here, and the take your pick tools for those customers. Now in March, here's the shopping code for March: WKQUDZMG. This is also on my website. So with a $50 purchase in March, as my thank you, I'm going to send you a bottle of the Craft white ink refill. And after today's card, you're going to want that. And for your $100 product purchase, I'm going to send you a thank you of that Craft white ink and a package of the brushed brass butterflies. Okay, so $50, $100, my thank you gifts to you for supporting me. Oh, I need that ink. Yeah, so I was waiting for you to join me here. I was playing with, I don't have the new tulip set out of this year's catalog, but I have our old timeless tulips, and I pull this out every year for Mother's Day and Easter, and I was starting to build a card with one of those tulips. It also had a coordinating punch, the tulip builder punch, back when we had this set. So anyways, I was stamping out some tulips, and I pulled out some of my alcohol ink backgrounds that I had made. And I was just starting to put together a tulip card, possibly. But I know I jumped on a couple minutes early because I'm waiting for our vet to call. Our one little kitty cat was having some trouble yesterday trying to use the litter box, and so he had to go in this morning as an emergency visit and get checked. And they called and said that he's doing okay, but the doctor was gonna just go through his blood work and stuff and then give me a call back. So I need to get through my card today in case he calls and I can go pick Spiky up and bring him home. I have the catalog laying out because I want to remind you that the annual catalog, this annual catalog ends with April, and then our new catalog will begin. So if there was anything in this catalog as well that you were looking at, I would go take a peek and make sure that that item is still available and get it while you can. Along with that, we have some Stampin' Up colors that will be going away. Here we go again. Is it the Bumblebee? Oh, you know what? Do I have my papers out here? Because maybe I don't. Oh, Cinnamon Cider, Bumblebee. Are they in here? Instead of me guessing and telling you the wrong colors. So if you had a favorite in there that that you liked and you wanted to make more cards with it, you're probably going to want to get your any ink refills or cardstock. it's not listed. It just says through the 2022 colors. Oh, in color here. Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Bumblebee, Magenta Madness, and Misty Moonlight. And Misty Moonlight is an all-time favorite of mine, so I might have to just get some more paper there because I love it. Now today's card, this isn't my design. I was inspired by Mary Deathridge off of Stamps and Lingers. And her design is a little bit different than mine, so you may want to wander over to her YouTube channel as well and see how she did her card. And she will tell you that she was inspired by another crafter to use this technique, and this is a new technique for me. I've seen Gail O'Neill do bleaching, but I think she actually used some bleach and bleached out the ink on her cards. So Mary showed a different way, and I really liked it, and I just did this card with some Mary Merlot and Smoky Slate. And while I was doing this, Mary did hers with Soft Succulent and Evening Evergreen. And while she was doing it, I was thinking, oh, that'd be so pretty in blue. And she said that whoever the stamper was that inspired her had also done it in Misty Moonlight and Night of Navy. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to use blues then. So anyways, I went with Mary Merlot and Gray, Smoky Slate. And then, of course, while I'm doing that, I'm thinking, what other colors could I use? Because I think it's going to work best on darker colors. So I thought we'll try Bermuda Bay with Coastal Cabana. And of course, Gorgeous Grape with Highland Heather. Because those two just go together. And so, all right, the first thing. Let's do the Bermuda Bay one first because trying to make sure that I kind of plan this out. I want the lighter color paper to be our top mat because we're going to use the darker color ink on the lighter paper. So we have an 8.5 by 11 sheet of Bermuda Bay cardstock that I've cut in half and then scored and folded in half again to make our 4.25 by 5.5 inch card base. Okay, I'll set that aside for the moment. And then let me get my trimmer so that I can give you correct measurements. This is a piece of the Simply Marbelous paper. And it was pretty amazing how they had all the colors that I needed in this Marbelous paper to add a layer on our background. So this one was 4.25 by 5. Is that right? No, 4.125 by 5 3/8. I was going to say, I think I cut that down a little. 4.125 by 5 3/8. That will be our panel on our card base, allowing for just a very small border, 1/8 of an inch border. And then a piece of Bermuda Bay that was 4 by 5 1/4. That will be the next layer up. And then I think we have 3 3/4. Yep, 3 3/4 by 5 out of Coastal Cabana, because we want this to be just a little lighter so our ink stands out. Okay, so card base, 4.125 by 5 3/8, 4 by 5 1/4, and 3 3/4 by 5. And those will just all layer up nicely on each other. I have my large stamp already mounted on a block. And I have a piece of scrap paper on my foam mat because I'm going to stamp off the edge down here a little bit, and I didn't want to get ink on my mat. So on the Coastal Cabana panel, we're going to use Bermuda Bay ink. And this is where Mary's design was different than what I'm doing. Mary made, I think she had the flowers coming up from the bottom and the top. And I think her layers were different than mine as well. But of course, we don't want to see the same card over and over again, right? So I'm stamping on the bottom left with my ink. And I'm hoping this is going to show up as well with the with the Bermuda Bay, as well as it did with the Merlot. Clean my stamp off here so it'll be ready when we go to do a purple one. I do appreciate how our colors coordinate so nicely. Okay. And then for the fun. Now, if you have Whisper White or the Craft White ink pad, the stamp pad, you can squeeze your ink pad and get ink into the lid of your craft pad, your ink pad, I'm sorry. And we're going to use a blender pen, which I have shared also as my thank you gift, so you might already have one of these. Or you can use your acrylic block and smush it into your stamp pad to get the ink on your acrylic block. Or you can take the re-inker, which is what I found actually just to work fine, and add a little bit of ink to your acrylic block using that kind of as your palette. And it doesn't really take a whole lot because we only have this one little flower on here. And then using a blender pen, I do need my scrap paper because I like to clean my blender pen off in between applications here so I don't have any ink left on my pen. And then I just dipped my blender pen into the craft ink. And this is not quite the same as our pigment ink pads. This is going to take a couple seconds to dry. So I used the white and just did kind of an outline of my flower petals and then spread that ink from the center of each petal towards the outer edge, which kind of smears the blue, the Bermuda Bay ink. I can talk and chew gum at the same time. And I have my camera close enough so that you can see this, I hope. Check that. Move this down a little closer. Better. And as this ink dries, and I need a little more light on here, so I hope I don't make too much of a glare. As this ink dries, it does lighten up a bit, and so that Bermuda Bay will be more visible. And this gives us sort of a whitewash appearance. Like I said, I have seen Gail O'Neill use a whitewash technique, and I've always liked it, I just hadn't done it. Well, how is everybody anyways? Other than Kitty not feeling 100%, everybody here is good. There are some little edges, like this petal right here. And when you look at the, I probably should have closed my Bermuda Bay ink up, huh? Yeah, that probably would have been why, so it doesn't dry out. You can kind of keep the case beside you and check the image. So there's a couple little pieces of the flower that are flipped over, which would normally be whiter. So you can add another layer of the white ink to make that a bit brighter if you like. And I am starting out with pretty light applications of the white until I see the effect that it's going to have. And then I can tell if I want to add more. And let me see, we have one in the back here. The blender pens do have a nice little point on them, making it pretty easy to follow your outline, your image. So really I had planned on doing an Easter card today until I saw Mary's video. Like, oh, it's so pretty with the white. Add a little more white on there. A little more white on this one to brighten up the part that's flipping up over the petals. I must have got it on pretty thick. It's taking a minute there. It does look as though it's going to be a beautiful day today. I think I'm going to wash some windows, my patio windows. It's going to be that time where I'm ready to start spring cleaning, but it still is just not quite time. Can't take my curtains and stuff down quite yet. Pretty soon. But it's been warm enough a couple days to open up our windows and just let some fresh air come in. And I'm just using a piece of scrap paper, wiping my blender pen off of there, getting the craft ink off until it's clear again. And then using the same Bermuda Bay, I need a ton of birthday cards this month, which is one reason I was looking for some brighter colors than Mary Merlot and Smoky Slate, because I love that, but to me it almost looks as though it should be a sympathy card again, and Lord knows I've done enough of those. I don't want to do anymore. So that's why we went for some brighter colors, some springier color. Happy birthday. And this is such a simple card. We're not using our cut and emboss machine. I'm not die cutting anything out. This is pretty simple stamping. The only technique really is adding the white ink. And it's still a little damp there, so I don't want to turn that over to add my adhesive on the back yet. So let me set that aside and we'll start putting the rest of the card together. Just get some Stampin' Seal. I use the Stampin' Seal Plus, which is some pretty heavy duty sticky going on here. We'll add our Marbelous paper to the card base, trying to get it centered. And then we can add our layer of Bermuda Bay. I'm running out of tape in this. I hope not. I am. I think every time I have run out of tape. I have actually been, yep, I have been on video every time it's run out. Can't do it while I'm sitting up here making cards on my own, right? It has to wait until we're actually doing a demo. Because, of course, can't really see a whole lot of the marbling behind here. Probably could have cut these down a little smaller, but still looks a little bit wet on that one flower. Let's hope I don't smear it too bad. Oh, good. So Friday I was on, and I should wipe that ink off my fingernail before I get it on something. And it was kind of windy and icing. We had a lot of ice. And I had said, you know, the only bad thing about that is we gotta kind of keep an eye on the trees because they get so heavy they fall. And it was about 2 hours later. I was mixing some cookie dough and heard a big kerthunk, and our lights went out. And across the street, a tree had fallen across a power line. So, yeah, see, it just made what I said actually the truth. So we called the power company. I and my neighbor both reported it, and then they weren't sure how long it was going to be before somebody came out. So I called 911 as well because there were lines down, and we have an elderly gentleman up the road there who was out wandering around, and went out and reminded him not to go by the road. And so it took them quite a while, and actually we were lucky. Our power was only out for a couple of hours, but the folks up beyond where the tree fell, their power was out until the next afternoon. I felt so bad for them. So I added a couple of the white classic matte dots just to help accent the white in the flowers. It's such a subtle technique, but it really makes a difference. And it does show up better on the Merlot with the darker ink. So let's try the purple and see how that comes out as well. Like I said, this is going to be just great for me. I need birthday cards, and this will work. Yeah, so no sooner had I talked about the, oh yeah, I did pull out ribbon in case we wanted to add a bow or anything. This is, let's see how one looks on there just to be, we have plenty of time, right? Moving along today. That's what happens when I actually get prepared. I need to finish up a lot of cards. I do these on video, and I don't always finish the insides. And one of my resolutions this year was to stop doing that. Just finish the card and have it ready to go. Well, I have some here ready. Well, actually, they aren't really from this year. Most of the ones that I have to complete are from last year. Before my New Year's resolution. Because I knew it was getting out of control. That's why I decided. I don't know if I'm going to like this because it has, what is that color on the other side? Oh, it's a nice ribbon though. It's a really nice ribbon. Soft. Come on. This is why I don't do it bows on my hands. My hands are so dry. I just can't even grasp the ribbon right because it wants to stick to my dry fingers. What is this? This is Granny Apple Green and Coastal Cabana. I don't know about that. Oh, where are my ribbon scissors there? We'll just have it ready, and if I don't use it on this card, I'll use it on another. I just don't know the Granny Apple Green, if it shows up. I don't know if I can hold it down with a glue dot here. Or do we even need it with the little white dots? I just pulled the ribbons out yesterday because I knew I had some in coordinating colors of my papers I was using, and you know me, options. I like to have. I can't hold this. I like to have options so that I'm not always making each card the same. Let me see that on the camera. What's that look like with the bow on there? Is it a yay or a nay? Oh, you know what? That's not bad, is it? Really is a nice ribbon. And I hadn't used it before. I don't even know which collection that's from. Oh, I have to think about it. I don't know. I guess I kind of do like it. Even the Granny Apple Green. I'm going to set it aside and think about that one. I do have gorgeous grape ribbon that doesn't have any other color on there. Well, I may as well make a bow while I have my little bow maker thingy here. Because I may use that one. Oh my goodness, I cannot grab this stuff. It's not supposed to be hard. There, see? Didn't I just put my scissors back? I did. This happens when you put things away. And I think I just hit you in the head, didn't I? Sorry. Alright. So we have a bow ready for the next one. I'll bet you the white stands out brighter on here because of the darker ink. So again, we have gorgeous grape, a piece of Marbelous paper. I'm going to be daring, and I'm going to cut this down a little bit more so that we can see some of that marbling in the back. This one will be just a little different. So we're at 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to do this one at 3 3/4 by 5. And then we'll take 1/4 of an inch off. I just lost my scoring tool. So this was 3 3/4, so we're going to go to 3 1/2. And it was 5, so we'll go to 4 3/4. Just take 1/4 of an inch off of each one of those top 2 layers. And we'll be able to see our Marbelous paper. And that works okay. I just have to be careful. We want to watch when we do that to make sure that the entire stamp will still fit on our top layer, and it will. Scrap paper. This gorgeous grape. Oh yeah, see this is a much darker ink. And these distinctive stamps are so pretty. There's such detail. Oh, you know what? I didn't clean off my happy birthday stamp over there. I see I have ink on it. Shame on me. Okay. And how am I managing to get my fingernails so inky today? I'm just always afraid I'm going to get it on my card. I need to clean my oh, what are those things called? Chamois. My Simply Chamois. I need to clean them and wash them before I started the day. And I have been making cards, so they're dirty. I think these sizes are a little better. I think the flower fills in this size more. And still have our Picasso paint palette here. And the blender pen again. I love how as this dries that ink comes back through. I just think that's so cool. That's it on that pack flower. It's not really got a lot of petals on it. Sorry, I went quiet. I started concentrating on my petals here and began to ignore you. I'm so sorry. Guess I don't really have a whole lot other than the excitement of the tree falling. I don't have a whole lot exciting story. I did feel bad for one neighbor. I went across two parts of his fence that's around his yard, not just across the fence. It had to hit two sections of his fencing, so he kind of got the short end of the stick on this whole thing. And I'm not sure if the tree is actually on his property line or the other neighbor's. So there's another flower back there. Did I get that one? Didn't. Oh, I have to wait because now I have purple one here. I missed this one little flower in the back. Did I get it on the Mary Marvel? I did. Okay. I did notice on my original one that I was doing, if you go over your card too many times, the card will start to pill a little bit because we're just using regular cardstock here. It's not watercolor. And so be careful that you don't get too much of the blender pen and ink on there, because you don't want your card to be all icky after you do all that work. A little bit more in here. And then while that's drying, clean this off, get the purple off, and fix that one flower that did I just dip it in purpley? Oh, that's pretty on the purple. I like it. Oh, over here. And when I'm adding this little bit of extra, I'm really just adding it on the lines that are already in the image. I'm not recreating anything here. You know, we've talked about that before, that the designer has some shading already on the stamps, and so we don't have to reinvent. We can use what they've already provided for us. Just making a few more lines in the direction of those stamp lines. This is really a very pretty technique. I like it. Okay. Take that off. And we can start putting these ones together. This is the other side of that Marbelous paper. Oh, look, I even have my insert ready to go in that one. Woohoo! I don't think I did in the Bermuda Bay one, though. But I have one cut right behind me that I can use. I'm just laying it on my scrap paper here off to the side, if you can't see that, in case any of the ink is still wet. Oh, I do like the purple though, for sure. And we'll still add the little white matte dots because I do think that that enhances our white ink. My glue dots here. I'd have to get some more glue dots. I realized the other day when I was doing that, I finished one whole roll of them. I don't know what I was gluing, but I used them up. Oh, and I didn't order them either. Silly me. I just, like I said, I just put that order in. I'm going to put a glue dot under each of the little ribbon tails here, so it will stay where I want it to stay. Okay. And let's get some little white dotsies on there. I think I like this with a little bit smaller panel. And so there we are. Yeah, see how you can get a little bit more of the background paper on that? All right, since we have time and my phone's not ringing yet, let me, oh, where'd my stamps that go? I buried it under all my dimensionals. Let me do the insert. Well, I still have all my inks out. I wanted to use, I want the smaller flower, or I'd really like this little swirly. Let's do the swirly. And happy birthday. You're in my thoughts today. Is it this one? Nope. You're in my thoughts today. Got a little fuzzy on there. And we need one for the swirly. Oh, I got all my big blocks on top of the smaller ones. Is this too small? Oh, it's not. Okay. Fuzzy on that one too. Try and get that off of there. Oh, come here. Oh, let me see. How about no? Yes. One. sure I have these cut down to the right size. Bermuda Bay. Two. Merlot. Sound a little crooked? If it is, we can straighten that up a little bit. Oh, I thought I was going to sneeze. Before I add that, I'll show you how I straighten these when I stamp them a little bit crooked. Although it's not too bad. Yeah, but a little noticeable. So, what I do, and this it's kind of handy to remember. I know I've had during classes where people were real upset because they had something crooked. And we just straightened it up a little bit. It made our insert a little bit smaller, but that's okay. Nobody says it has to be a particular size, right? So I can see when I lay this down that my words need to go this way just a little bit to make it go up and down straight with my trimmer. I'm kind of using the lines on my trimmer as a guide, just eyeballing it and keeping it straight. So I make the end of my basic white go to the cutting track, only cutting off as little as possible. And that'll straighten it up, but you have to do all four sides. So now when I put this edge along the top of my trimmer, it'll make my message straight. Move my paper over until it's just inside the cutting track, and do that on each side. Oh, I should have sneezed. Now I'm all stuffed up here. And that straightens up our words, even though it makes the inside panel a bit smaller. It doesn't matter. I mean, the cardstock is pretty. Colors are beautiful, so it doesn't hurt anything. And it straightens up our stamping that we did crooked. Just make sure to do all four sides. Three. There we are. Oh, I forgot to move my camera, huh? So, which color do you like the best? And I think I am going to add the bow. Or was I going to look and see if I have another one without the Granny Apple Green? That could make the difference. Well, I have Pool Party, think I have the... I think that's mint macaron. So we might just have to leave it. Of course, we do have soft succulent, which is very close. Oh, that might be pretty, huh? Again, all of the colors coordinate so nice together. They don't have to be the same exact color. Yeah. The granny apple greens just bother me on that, since we don't have any other colors on there other than the Bermuda Bay, Coastal Cabana, and basic white. I really didn't want to bring in another color. Oh yeah, look at that. All right. Right. Oh, I hit you in the head again. You guys are just really going to get mad at me. Sorry. I wonder if Mary Merlot feels left out because she doesn't have a flower or a bow. I'm pretty sure I don't have Mary Merlot ribbon. I can almost bet $1 million on that one. Cute, cute, cute. Thanks, Mary. I appreciate that inspiration because this is going to be a favorite technique to use. So there you have it, guys. Remember to visit bohostamper.com, and I lost there it is, our shopping code for March, so that I can send you some white ink and the butterflies. There they are. When you do a qualifying order. Yeah. So until Friday, when I just do some paper crafting fun, Lord only knows what that's going to be this week. Or next Monday when we have our next Stampin' Up demo, we really do have to get into some Mother's Day and Easter cards, because this week begins Lent. Yeah, so we have to work on Easter cards. I will see you all then. Have a wonderful week, and thanks for tuning in with me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to like and share this with your friends. Subscribe if you want to be reminded when the next video pops up. See y'all next week. Bye.